I went to the DMV, and again, I'm 4'11", so I'm pretty short. And I told the lady at the DMV for my driver's license that I was 5'8", and she put 5'8" on my driver's license.
Hello, and welcome back to the Voice for You podcast, where we empower the leaders of today and tomorrow. I'm your host, Jeshwant Vana. Today, I'm joined by a young leader in our community. She is a passionate leader who creates opportunities for youth in her area. She is the founder of the Gluckstadt Mayor's Youth Council, which gives the youth a voice. She also serves as president for a speech and debate team and captain of her Science Olympiad team, and has also founded many youth women empowerment associations, such as Young Women's Leadership and Project Pink. Her work has definitely not gone unnoticed, as she was named a 2025 Coca-Cola Scholar. Being passionate for her community and setting her community up for success, she is Miss Julia Lever. How are you doing today, Julia?
Good. You've done your research.
Yes, yeah. Any good journalist, has to do their research in order to, provide the best experience for their guests, in my opinion.
Thank you.
So definitely. But how's your day been?
It's been great. It was raining here in Madison, but it's a little bit more sunny, and I just got done teaching swim lessons for today.
Nice. It's obviously Madison's not too far. Madison, Mississippi's not too far from Memphis, and we're probably going to be experiencing the same weather. I'm pretty sure. Is the weather like bipolar for y'all too?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
That's like
Okay.
key of Mississippi-ness.
Yeah, we're like I'm on the pretty much the border of Mississippi, so the weather's always bipolar. One day it's like raining, and next day it's sunny, and then like on the weather app, it'll say the next week is sunny, and then the next day it's just pouring rain. It just comes out of nowhere, and it's
Yeah,
like
that's how Mississippi is too.
exactly, and it always screws up plans too. Like my friends, like if we trying to go play pickleball or like go outside because it's summertime, like who's not trying to be outside during the summer?
Yeah.
And then the rain just screws up everything. You gotta love it at the end of the day. But we still, at least it's not one weather all the time, so it's always like a surprise per
Yeah.
se. But before getting to the interview, tell me a little bit about yourselves, your hobbies, your passions, and who you are as a
Of
person.
course. So my name's Julia. I graduated from Germantown High School a few months ago. And so throughout high school, I've really been a leader within my area and honestly the state. So a couple years ago, about 3 years ago, I read about some articles about some students that were making a lot of change in their community. And I've always been so fascinated with government. I wanted to be involved in government, but I realized that government started on a local level. So I founded and started the City of Gluckstadt's Mayor's Youth Council. We started out with just 15 members, and it's grown and grown and grown. To last year, we got over 200 applications. Our council has 30 members, and I've served as president, chief for the last 3 years. And while it does say Mayor's Youth Council, we have been a totally independent organization. Everything we do, our students put it on ourselves, and we grow everything from the ground up. But the weird thing that I like to say is I have like two different avenues. So I have that side of my career, but I also have been so involved with women and women's studies, and particularly menstrual products and menstrual research. So my ninth grade year, I really noticed that there was not, my school especially, Germantown, is very athletic oriented. There's not really an avenue to specifically upload for leaders. Our National Honor Society was pretty much non-existent. Our Beta Club is just a name. But if you want to know anything about the baseball team, all the counselors can tell you immediately. That's just I just realized there is no outlet for so many girls in the area. That all the girls were kind of cliquish, and I wanted somewhere for the girls that had nowhere to go to, if that made sense. So, the girls that were in band had each other, there's girls in dance team, cheer team, but I wanted somewhere that, the umbrella for everybody. So I founded the Young Women Leadership Club at my school. And honestly, I didn't really expect it to ever grow to much, I'll say that. But by our second year, we had over 200 members. And so as a 10th grader, I got this handwritten letter. And that letter really just sent me on this trajectory. At the time, it was from a senior and it was anonymous. But it was a girl and she was detailing how she was facing not graduating our high school in a very nice area in Madison, mind you, because she had missed so much school. The reason she missed so much school was because she felt embarrassed to go to school because she did not have menstrual products. She lived in a low-income household and she couldn't afford any. So as Young Women Leadership, we saw this letter and we simply started stocking our school bathrooms with menstrual products. But we went through about 400 a month. And I realized that if this was such a big issue in my school, I couldn't imagine how big this issue is in other schools all across our state. So I decided to found the nonprofit Project Pink. And so Project Pink goes and it founds young women leadership chapters in other schools. And those young women leadership chapters get feminine products from Project Pink and then is able to stock those school bathrooms. So a school not only gets leadership from young women leadership and a club and some kind of purpose, but they also get free feminine hygiene products for students of all different backgrounds. And so after seeing the effects of putting this into schools all around our states, I started to realize that this is a huge problem in Mississippi. I would go on these big leadership conferences from all around the nation, and I would talk to girls that lived in like really urban areas, Chicago, New York, New Haven, and they were often confused about this mission. They didn't understand the purpose. What do you mean you don't have feminine pads in your bathrooms? Isn't that, stocked everywhere? Exactly. So I decided to write a research paper which studied the correlation between menstrual poverty in rural areas versus urban areas. And so it was actually published by Clemson University. I've gone into a whole big rant now, but my research paper is able to see how within these rural areas such as rural Mississippi, rural Alabama, rural Tennessee, menstrual poverty is so high because often it's more stigmatized down here than in really urban areas like New York. But you also asked me about my hobbies. I like to swim. I've been on the swim team for 2 years. I'm not fast at all. I was like the slowest swimmer on the entire team, but I can swim.
Gets the job done.
Exactly. I also founded a LLC. I like to sew. So in 7th grade in middle school, I founded this company called 3J's Custom Sewing, and we got like 2,000 sales on Etsy. I've done that over the past few years. I like to hang out with my friends. I like to bake. I'm a big reader too. I really like to read on politics. Any kind of current event you can ask me and I'll yap about it. I was also really involved with our speech and debate team. Speech and debate kind of gave me a platform to start speaking on
the politics.
and yeah, I started speech and debate my 9th grade year, and I was president of the team for 2 years. And I was in 46 clubs throughout high school.
What?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I could go and list them all, but we'd be here for a while.
It's great. I did so basically what happened was, it was 6th grade, we had our club fair, and I didn't understand how any of this worked. Because I was a new 6th grader in a new school and a new system and all that. So I signed up for chess club, and that's all I signed up for. And my parents got pissed. They got really mad at me. And my dad, without telling me, decided to email every teacher in the school asking if I could join their club. Without me knowing too. And 11 or 12 teachers, 13 teachers responded back. And because they responded back, my parents forced me to join their club. And it was some of those clubs were good, like Science Olympiad, chess club. And then there were some clubs that were just a little bit stupider. And like there was a STEM club, there were only 4 people in that club.
Well, hey, a club with just 4 people is still technically a club.
It is technically a club, but you should just make that 3 because I did not want to be there.
Yeah, I got quite the reputation throughout high school because I started so many clubs. We had this big club board, And
Yes.
in ninth grade, I literally signed up for every single one. So by the time I'm a senior, I was president of every single one.
Every single one. Wow.
I was captain of Science Olympiad. I was president of the World Culture Club. I was president of the Spanish Club, although I
Yes.
only took a year of Spanish. But I was president for it for 2 years.
Yes.
I was president of Mu Alpha Theta, which is like
Wait, let me read you the list that I know of. So
okay, yeah.
you were the president of Spanish Club, the World Culture Club,
Mhm.
Chess Club, and
Founder too.
the founder of Chess. Okay. Even better. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's a lot of clubs. That is a lot of clubs. Are there any other clubs that you would like to mention that you were president of that did not hit?
What did we say? We said Spanish Club. We mentioned
And
Mu
World
Alpha
Culture
Theta.
Club, Mu Alpha
That was
Theta,
a fun
Chess.
one. Speech and debate. That
Yes.
was always fun. I was a National Honor Society officer, but they refused to let me be president because he said I was president too much already.
Dang.
I was a part of swim team. I think I've already said that. Swim team was fun, but again, I was very slow. Forgot what we were talking about. Sorry. I also did a lot of speech contests. Like I really love
Okay.
speech and debate, and public speaking has always been like, everybody has their thing. Some people are really fast at running. Some people are a great dancer. Public speaking has kind of always been like my thing.
Forte. Yeah.
Yeah, my forte. Yeah, so I love speech and debate, and I did a couple of speech contests outside of speech and debate. So
Okay.
I was the state champion of the American Legion oratorical contest.
Okay.
And I won the Optimist contest for our state, and I also won the Tri-State Optimist oratorical contest.
Dang. Okay. Dang,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I have
Okay.
scholarship stacked.
Oh, and obviously, yeah, money on top of that too. Wow. I don't know. I might have to start doing my research on that too. You know, it's money.
Yeah,
Like scholarships, and at the end of the day, like it's crazy. Especially
so
if
important for college.
yes, and especially if with how much everything is going up these days. You know, definitely. Before I get into the meat of like what you do and stuff, I like to start my interviews off with a light-hearted question.
Of course.
Too. So if you could if you could take the body of any athlete, who would it be and why?
Honestly, I'd probably say Simone Biles.
Okay.
Super muscular, but I'm also her height. I'm 4'11", and so I think she's like 4'10", and I wouldn't want to get taller. I like being short.
That's the first time I've heard anyone say that.
It's cool being short. It's so cool being short.
How do you feel like you've benefited from being short?
Well, for starters, no skirt or shorts I wear will ever be too short. Like if I was taller and I wore a mini skirt, my butt could show.
Exactly.
But being shorter, it goes to my knees.
Yeah. And then you could just you take a large skirt, you can just make that into a dress at that point.
Yeah, I make that into a dress like
Exactly.
Angelina.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like being short, but also being short's just so funny. I went to the DMV, and again, I'm 4'11", so I'm pretty short. And I told the lady at the DMV for my driver's license that I was 5'8", and she put 5'8" on my driver's license.
Actually. Wow.
9 inches. She didn't question it.
So what if say if an officer pulls you over and then sees now that you're spay and they tell you to step out of the car and then it's like 5'8" up here and then like is that gonna get you in any trouble or?
Well, I'm such a good driver. I'll never get pulled over,
That's also true too.
and I don't own a car, so
Okay. Wait. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to New York. There's no reason for a car.
Yeah, there's no reason for a car there.
I had a car for all of high school, and my transmission kind of blew up, so it won't move. Yeah.
Well, good thing, it's a good segue into the next question. Good thing Columbia took you. Speaking of Columbia, first off, congratulations on graduating high school.
Thank you.
That is a big deal for anybody. It's basically the next step of your life. And like I have mentioned, you are going to we both have mentioned, you are going to New York. You have committed to Columbia University. So what about Columbia first drew you to not only choose the college as your next home for 4 years, but also, just think about applying there in general.
Well, I'm gonna be completely honest. Yeah, I'm about to go in the biggest yap session. Okay. But so where I'm from, 95% of graduates in Germantown go to community college. We've never had anybody really go out of state. Like, our out of state is going to University of Alabama. And so as a ninth grader, I love New York, and I just kind of made it this mission that A, I was going to get out of Mississippi, and B, I really wanted to go to Columbia University. I love New York, I love the city, I love Broadway, and I wanted to break the barrier, I guess. Because again, nobody from Germantown really goes out of state at all, let alone an Ivy League school. And throughout the area I'm from too has this mentality that if you are not the baseline, the normal going to Ole Miss or Mississippi State, which by the way are great colleges and gave me great offers, and honors college would have been great. But if you aren't like them, then you aren't, like what do you mean you want to go out of state? What do you mean you want to go to New York? I had a lot of people look at me like I was crazy. And so after saying this for so long, like people thought I was joking. People didn't think when I said I want to go to Columbia and I want NYU to be my backup. People were laughing at me. I told that to my old speech and debate coach, Mr. Hawkins, and he was like, NYU is a backup, really? But I was serious. I really wanted to go to Columbia, and by the time I was a senior, everybody knew that. Like, I made it like, I said it so much that I made it into a mission. Like, I made it a reality. And everything I did was to get to that goal, to go to the college, to go to the next step. But I'll be honest, by the time I actually got to apply early decision, I was applying in October, I didn't even really know if I wanted to go to Columbia. Like, I had said it for such a long time, and the only reason I had really said that was A, it's an Ivy League school, and B, it's in New York.
Exactly.
I just really wanted to get out. By the time I actually got there, I'm like, am I actually doing this? And so I have a college counselor at my school, and she told me, Julia, you can apply early decision for Columbia, but don't expect anything. Don't expect anything at all. You aren't gonna get in. And the day Columbia came out, I had 15 other college applications I was preparing to submit that night because I knew I wasn't gonna get in. Like, I wasn't gonna get in at all. And honestly, I had prepared so much for me not getting in that I hadn't prepared to get in. And I guess that also taught me that I need to have always a little bit more hope than I had. Because again, I had 60 essays written for all these other colleges. Like, I was ready to submit them.
My face went shocked, but I'm not really surprised. I shouldn't be that surprised. For like 15.
Oh, the Common App, you'll be so excited for that. When you apply to if you apply to 20 colleges, that's at least like 80 essays.
Oh my god.
60 essays, give or take.
I
think I ended up, I was like, if I hadn't gotten to Columbia, I would have applied to like 28 colleges. Like, all that night. But I did get in, and it's been great. I'm very excited. I'm right now, my camera's like, whoa. I just got my dorming assignment. I'm excited to have a single room. Single, yeah.
That's
single.
nice.
Yeah, it's about the size of a closet, but cool.
Single's a single.
Single's a single. But yeah, I really always loved New York, and I always loved politics, so I think that's really what drove me. But also, it's just this feeling of just getting out. And I realized I could have done that with any school, like Yale, but I really just wanted to get out of Mississippi, and I wanted to get out of this bubble. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm currently applying for the Columbia Fly-In program.
Oh, the STARS program?
Yeah, the STARS program. I was talking to another coach called Connor. He was talking about how he applied to the STARS program too. And I was like, I didn't know fly-ins existed. And Columbia's like known because they have 2 fly-in programs. So I'm thinking about applying to both.
You should.
Yes, they're probably similar except like 1 or 2 essays. And then I was looking at the Columbia thing, like the portal. It looks pretty much the same to like a college application process. So
yeah, it does. It does.
So and obviously like New York, doesn't want to go to New York.
Fun fact, I did not get into the flying program.
Oh, I mean, still
I
not.
had that's the I say it every time, you don't win everything.
Exactly.
I have more rejections than I do acceptances. So, and I'm cool with that. Proud of that.
That's 100% fair. I mean, even if you got rejected, then I mean, you got Columbia ED, and obviously, like you did mention, you were more prepared for a no than a yes. So how was that environment like when you did see that you got that yes?
I didn't know what to think, honestly. It's funny too. When I applied for college, I was out of school. I had this big surgery this year. They went in and I was born with this condition. And so doctors went in and they cut my leg in half and they grew it 2.5 inches and rotated it 55 degrees. So I
So
missed,
did that add to the 4'11" height to make you 5'1" now?
yes,
Okay.
it made me 5 foot even.
Okay.
But yes, I missed 6 months of my senior year. So I was gone from October to March, give or take,
Yes.
give or take, about November-ish, middle November to March. So when I got into Columbia, nobody in my school knew because I was gone.
You were gone. So.
And then the rumors were so funny. Everybody thought I dropped out of school because I didn't text anybody. I left. And by the time I came back, some people didn't believe me. But also, it's just, again, the environment of the school I went to. Most people thought, like, when I said Columbia, they thought of the clothing brand Columbia. Like, they didn't know it was.
I got a job at Columbia, guy.
You got a job at Columbia, yes. But also, by the time I came back and I was kind of sharing the news, like, I'm going to Columbia, very excited about it, everything with the news started happening.
Yes.
Trump became in office and this battle has broken out between the Trump administration and Colombia.
Yes.
Yes.
It's been with Trump in the Ivies. Obviously, I can't go into detail with like everything due to some restrictions on my end, but it's
Yeah, same here.
yes.
Stay as neutral as possible.
Yes.
But that being said, what's happened within the news has kind of only fired ignorance. Like, I had a girl in my AP English class, and she said, "Oh, you weren't gonna get to go to college because Trump is gonna shut Columbia down. Trump is gonna make sure Columbia's not even a university, and he would never attack Ole Miss because Trump actually graduated from Ole Miss."
No, he didn't.
He graduated from Penn. But this politics and this world we live in right now is only fueling this lustful ignorance.
Exactly.
And so I guess I had to deal with that a little bit. That made me a little less excited to go, but
Hey, haters gonna hate. They don't like seeing you succeed. That's my main thing in life, because there's a lot of people like you could be the nicest person in the world, and there's still gonna be that one person preying on your downfall
Exactly.
24/7.
But I'm so excited to go to Columbia, really. I think it's going to be
Definitely.
such a great opportunity. I'm so excited for the Broadway plays. That's going to be
Yes.
awesome.
How I know Columbia's like 30 minutes from like Times Square, right?
Yeah, give or take.
Exactly.
take,
So
yeah.
it's
It's
right there.
a subway ride. It's about 4 subway stops from.
And the subways. I forgot about the subways.
Yes, I'm so excited for the subways. Don't need a car.
Yes. You don't need a car at all in New York. You just walk everywhere and ride the subway.
Exactly.
Unless you're a taxi driver, I don't think you're taking a car. Let's be so. And obviously, like we're from the South, right? We don't see subways anywhere. We're not.
Exactly. Madison and Jackson, we don't even have we don't have any kind of public transportation. We don't have buses, or we just have cars.
Okay, yeah.
No taxi systems here.
I can't tell you. Obviously, Memphis gotta have like some I think Greyhounds or something like that. But
yeah,
I can't pinpoint a location. It's usually just cars. Because like Memphis is metropolitan enough, but not metropolitan enough like DC, New York, Chicago, LA, and all that. And this is a whole new environment that you're like walking into with Columbia as well too. Because like I said, New York, like going to Times Square at nighttime, that's probably a vibe.
It's gonna be such a big change from middle of nowhere Mississippi to Columbia, but I'm beyond excited. Me and there's one other girl that's from the coast, and we're both well, I think there's one other person too from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, but all three of us are from Mississippi going to New York City. It's gonna be such a good move. I'm very excited. It's a big move.
Yes.
My mom, I'm an only child, and so my mom and I are like best friends,
Yes.
and she is mourning every day.
I feel like that's just with any parent. I'm the oldest, and I'm the oldest child. I still have a year, but my parents are still like, I'm gonna move with you when you move to a new school. Like, they don't want me staying in Memphis, but they're like, if you move to a new college, we're gonna come with you too. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Definitely. But to get into Columbia, first off, ED, you need to have some crazy, like extracurriculars and stats, which you definitely have. Obviously, you have gone into depth with your work has done. But to begin, you are the founder of the Gluckstadt Mayor's Youth Council. So how did you get?
Kind of how I said earlier, I saw that some students in Pascagoula, Mississippi, which is on the coast. I'm in central Mississippi. They were making some real change within their community via a Mayor's Youth Council. And I've always loved government. And so I wanted to see the municipal process. And also, I was so lucky because the area I live in branched off into Gluckstadt, which was a completely new city. We were incorporated 2 years ago. So, no, 3 years ago, 2021. I guess it's 4. Almost 4. So we were incorporated in 2021, and the process of making a new city it's so in-depth. And so watching this area that was literally just grass like 5 years ago, boom, into this new growing city and this new environment, I knew I wanted the youth to have a voice in that. I knew I wanted us as a youth to be able to decide what kind of new buildings do we want? What kind of new businesses do we want? And so the Mayor's Youth Council has absolutely allowed that. It's been cool.
Definitely. And obviously, like you said, this has nothing to do with the government, the local government area. It is all student-led. So how is that connection between like your local government and the youth council like?
Well, honestly, the youth council really serves as a liaison between the high school students and the mayor. We're able to meet with the mayor, and we're able to tell the mayor what we would like to see within the area. We're able to also meet with we met with Christy Greenlee, who's a real estate agent within the area, and so she's been single-handedly deciding all these new businesses. And so one of the coolest, this is a little thing, but what I always have found is cool, is we had a meeting where all of my youth council members were there, and we were able to talk with Miss Greenlee and tell her what we as a youth wanted within our businesses. And so a lot of our members were saying how they wanted a place that stays open late that they can study in. The Barnes & Noble closes at 9 p.m. and they wanted somewhere that's open till midnight or 11 at least.
Yes.
And so she went and she found a business. It's now open, and it stays open till 11:30 at night, and teenagers are able to drink sodas and get snacks, but also have a place to study that's not Starbucks that closes at 8 or 9, but somewhere that's different, that has nice comfy seating that's open late. And so that specifically came from the youth council, which has always been super interesting.
Okay, yes. Obviously, when you say late night studying, first thing I think of is a Starbucks, or just that coffee vibe.
Yeah.
Having that more, soda, snacks, all that's and when you say comfy seating, it's couches everywhere. And,
couches
tables.
Everywhere. It's
okay.
They have sodas with creams in them.
Okay.
I think they do have some coffees, but yeah, and they just really wanted somewhere that's open super late.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and obviously, I know in my town, all of my friends, even in the summer, all of them go to the library. If I step foot into the library, I will see at least 5 people I know. It's crazy. I went to the library for the first time again Monday. I step in, before I can even sit, I waved hi to 4 or 5 people that day.
Oh wow. Yeah, our library closes at 5 p.m.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like my town, I know we do have like coffee shops around here, but I don't know. All the kids like going to the library, studying it's the library, so
Yeah.
really follow the rules of the library. Like yesterday, I went again. My friends were low key talking normally, and that's not really what's gonna slide in the library per se. So, having teenagers in the library can be a little bit nuisance at a time. So that's why it's good to have something like,
Like a
you
soda
know,
shop, yeah.
a soda shop, for everyone to chill out. And you can be loud too. It's a soda shop at the end of the
Yeah.
day. So like,
And they
you
play
gotta,
music in there too.
what's the music usually bumping in there?
Oh, I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. I haven't gone in a while. Um,
Okay.
I've been mostly at home, but
That's fair. That's fair.
I think I probably play Y101, which is like the main radio station for our area.
Okay. Okay. Usually if I got music on in the car, it's usually like on Spotify.
Spotify, yeah.
Shout out to Spotify. But
Who's your favorite artist?
my top artist, like my taste in music fluctuates a lot. But right now, the one thing that's always consistent with my music taste is Indian music. I am a big Indian music listener. But as terms of American music, I've been really big on like Daniel Caesar, Brent Faiyaz, Bryson Tiller, that R&B vibe recently.
Yeah.
That's always been a go-to of mine. It's always like that. Some days I'm feeling like Travis Scott, Kendrick Lamar. Some days, country look valid too.
My boyfriend loves Kanye West, Kendrick Lamar, Travis Scott maybe.
Yeah,
He's a big R&B person.
that sounds a little bit like my girlfriend. Her favorite artists are like Kanye West, The Weeknd, Travis Scott, all that. And I've been listening to a lot of 90s rap too. Tupac's good. He is good.
Yeah.
He is good.
I'm definitely not a rap person.
Okay, so what do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift, Lana Del Rey, Misky, more of that white girl shit, honestly.
That's fair. That's valid as well. What are your thoughts on Travis Kelce then?
Huh?
Travis Kelce, good or bad?
Yeah, I think he's good. I think he's one of her better boyfriends.
Yeah, she's had a lot. She's had a lot.
She's had a lot.
She's had a lot. Have you listened to Leve? That's how you say it. My friends are like big on her.
I don't know how to say her name properly, but I've started literally as of yesterday. I listened to a little bit of Lorde.
I have heard of that. Heard of that. Yeah.
Lorde.
Yes.
Yeah. I've listened to a little bit of her.
Okay.
But yeah, I mainly stick to. Oh, and also I've listened to a little bit of Lumineers and Florence and Machines. But
my friends, when it comes to they play 2010s pop. It's like Charlie Puth, Shawn Mendes, Maroon 5.
Complete 2013. Yeah.
It's strange too, because you take the same group of friends from last year, they're blasting Yeet. And now they're listening to Charlie Puth, Shawn Mendes, and Maroon 5. I'm like, where did the switch up come from? Because they've been forced me to listen to Yeet. I'm not the biggest fan of I've been getting up to Playboy Carti, but I'm not the biggest fan of Yeet, I'll be so honest.
I'll be honest, I don't know who Yeet is, but
maybe your boyfriend might know,
Maybe.
He probably does.
I'll ask him after this.
Yeah, don't worry.
He's at work right now, so I'll ask him to play Yeet at work.
I don't know if he's gonna be able to. It's hard rock but hard rap. It's blasting basses, mumble rap. It's not my forte. The only person I'll listen to that's Playboy Carti at the end of the day. No, coming back to what we were talking about earlier, other than the soda shop, has there been any other key initiatives that y'all have done
Oh, yes. Then the soda shop wasn't a key initiative. That's just something fun that happened. So we've actually organized the City of Luxette's Coat Drive 3 years in a row. And so last year we raised 1,800 coats for those in need within our community. And we raised so many for this organization called Madcap, which helps those in need within our area. They were actually able to donate to other charities within the area. So we organized that. We have different speakers come in every month. So I've had our Secretary of State, Michael Watson. He's come in 3 years in a row. We have a great relationship with him. We've had our Attorney General, Lynn Finch. We've had our representatives, Jill Ford, come in, and they've all come and speak about the importance of government. But even besides government, we've had, like, within our area, we have the Gluckstadt's Business Association Alliance. And so we had the president of the Gluckstadt Business Alliance come and speak to us about local businesses and the importance of shopping local. We have those speakers come in every month. And so also every year we raise money, and we raise money to attend, and we attend the Mississippi Municipal League's Youth Annual Summit. So it's a summit that happens in a college within our state, and every mayor's youth council in the state comes together, and they mingle, and we take classes, and it's a great weekend. We've raised money 3 years in a row now, and we've been able, thankfully, to attend it. It's been fantastic.
Definitely. Those just seem like some crazy. And obviously, you know, as a student union too, having that much say in government, especially because what I believe is like adults, because we are kids, like we're still not technically 18 yet, so we're not adults. So the fact that they're putting this much trust in your, like, shows how much work one can do if given the opportunity.
Exactly.
Definitely. But, you know, along with that, we've also, like you said, you have that side of you, but you also have the woman empowerment side of you as the founder of Young Women's Leadership, dedicated to empowering young women. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of internet initiatives around, like, the US and just, like, maybe in your area like that. So what makes your initiative or club stand out from the rest, in your opinion?
Are we asking about young women leadership, or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think especially with young women leadership, we also, while we do promote fostering, you know, success and leadership, and really trying to promote internship opportunities for these girls, we also promote inclusiveness. You know, I think in today's time that's often lost. Being inclusive of anybody and everybody. You know, I like to say young women leadership is always going to be a room where every door is open. Anybody and everybody of all walks of life, no matter where you lean on the political spectrum, no matter where you come from, or what your parents look like, or who you date, every young woman is always included within young women leadership. And I think that mentality is really rare to find nowadays. You know, we live in a world with social media, where social media really just fosters not being inclusive. You know, in such a negative world, we're often the first nowadays to use social media and these big platforms, not to promote one another, but to tear one another down.
Exactly.
We were talking about Taylor Swift earlier, and I think she is a fantastic example. You may be a Taylor Swift fan or not, but no matter how successful she is, billionaire, trillionaire, there is always going to be somebody sitting in some dark room with a computer complaining about her body, or complaining about her boyfriend, or that she likes her cats too much. And I think young women leadership is so special because it gets us away from all of that.
Exactly.
You know, it's this nice organization that really just promotes one another. And it promotes one another in a way that it doesn't tear one another's down when we look at careers or when we look at leadership. Young women leadership also with part of the feminine products. I feel like Project Pink's initiative is also so important. Because as we create more organizations like Project Pink, because I know there's thousands of organizations in our country today that helps foster to put feminine products in schools and businesses and public areas. But it's so important that we make more and more and more, because as more as we have of those, the stigma is going to be broken. There's still so much stigma around menstrual hygiene, especially within the South. And so I think the initiative to break that stigma and to talk about menstrual hygiene in regular conversation is so important.
Exactly. Like you said, rural, because obviously the term rural means like you're not surrounded like by other people, so a lot more, you know, religion, you know, ideologies play into rural areas rather than metropolitan, because metropolitan, you know, there's so many people and so many ideas that it forms together to make a more like democratic situation. But rural, you're not. It's like one person here, one person there, one person there, one person there, interacting as much. So obviously the stigma is going to be there, and it is great that you are able to. And obviously, not only have you addressed concerns with it, but you've also done your research with
Oh
project.
yes, my research.
So how did you go about with this research? Like, how did it like start? Did you start with like a university or?
Honestly, I started with the idea. I just brought out Word documents and I started reading within, especially articles within the NIH. I started reading articles that promoted and discussed the correlation between menstrual hygiene in certain areas. And so I read about this school in rural South Carolina that within their school in their graduating class, about 43 girls were about to graduate. At the very end, only 20 of those girls could graduate due to their attendance. And there had become such an issue that these girls often had to go to the hospital. These girls were often getting sick and getting infections from not having menstrual hygiene products. And so reading articles like that really makes you want to adapt more, find more. And so I think that was a big proponent of it too. And also using my personal experience with Project Pink, seeing how Project Pink blew up and how many feminine products we were going through per month per school, I was also really able to use that data as well. So I started and I completely wrote it. And then I got into contact with a professor at Clemson, Mr. Philip Grant. And so Phil was actually able to go through my paper and I had to give it to him. He really helped out. He went through and he found all my corrections and typos and gave me the idea of having this article here and took out unnecessary information. He perfected the thing. And so after he perfected it, he also knew really where to go with publishing it, journals to put it in. And so we put it up to be in multiple undergraduate research journals and we're successful.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
That's crazy, just making that one connection, and then now you're in multiple undergraduate research, and it was just because you were interested in the field too. It wasn't.
Exactly. And I think honestly, once you have an interest like that, it's so important to act on it. I like to say too, there's a big difference between talking about something and doing something.
Definitely. If you're interested on something, that's one thing that a lot of people have told me throughout these episodes. If you're passionate about something, it's less of work and more of not play, but it's more fun per se. And you were passionate about it, and it got the job done.
It gets stuff done. Yeah.
Definitely. But obviously, like you've mentioned with your research, you have not only looked at rural Mississippi, but you've also looked at other areas with rural states, like my state of Tennessee. Like you've seen rural Tennessee, probably rural Alabama, and all of that. So, in your opinion, how have you expanded Project Pink's reach in any terms, whether it's like teaching people about the menstrual cycle and like their products, or handing out these kind of supplies, or how do you feel like you've expanded it?
I really feel like a big thing is the donations. Honestly, one day I was just at school and I know I was sitting in AP Bio class and I heard on the announcements, like they were like, "Oh, Julie Lever, come to the office." And I'm like, "Oh, look, my mom brought me lunch. Great." And it was actually two ladies that had gotten in the car and saw Project Pink's mission, and they drove from Chicago to Mississippi to donate to my nonprofit.
Dang.
Yes, and I'm like, wow, this is better than my mom bringing me lunch. Yeah, but I definitely feel like the reach of it has been nationwide at this point. Being able to not only educate young girls about period hygiene, the importance of taking care of yourself, and the importance to speak up about it has been amazing, but also the confidence behind it. When girls are less embarrassed of their bodies and less embarrassed of something like their menstrual cycle, you can not only see the effects within something like that, but you can see the effects in everywhere else. I got a letter from this girl and she told me that she was able to try out for her softball team because now she had a reliable source of feminine products and she wasn't afraid of leaking through. And something like that is all the impact I need,
Exactly.
Even if I'm able just to help one Pacific girl in somewhere around Mississippi, that's huge to me.
Exactly. Just you get that. Everyone gets that certain feeling when helped someone. You get
Yeah.
that feeling of accomplishment and relief. Maybe not relief, but you get that sense of like accomplishment, and that's
Yeah.
a good feeling for anybody. Like, let's be so real. It is really nice, having people come up to you and ask you for your advice. That means you have reached a point to the point where people are asking you how you did what you did.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. And obviously, your two operations, with the Youth Women's Leadership and then Project Pink, they go hand in hand, like pretty much. So, how on a scale of 1 to 10, how much cross events happens between the two?
It's like a good 5.
Okay.
I think a good example is with the youth council, we always host this big fundraiser, the car wash and the bake sale. We host a car wash on one side and this huge bake sale on the other, and it raises money for us to attend that summit that I talked about. And so most of our volunteers came from Young Women Leadership. So I think that's a big cross. I have a lot of girls too that I've met through Young Women Leadership, and then I told them, oh, well, I also do the youth council, I started this, and so they're in both organizations.
Exactly. And then they have immense respect for you too.
Yeah. One of my youth council members, her name's Sage. Shout out to Sage if she's listening. But Sage is in the youth council and has been in it for 2 years. And she actually will be president of Young Women Leadership at Germantown next year. So she's taking it over. Good luck to her.
Sage got big shoes to fill, that's for sure. But
Big
best of
shoes.
luck to Sage. And, obviously, if you've entrusted her with taking over, that means she's probably doing something good. But best of luck to her from my end too, because filling big shoes to fill for anybody. So 100%. And speaking of big shoes to fill, not only have you've had these three, but like you have mentioned, you were a member, and not even you were a part of more than 45 plus clubs, which is still shocking my head. I still can't wrap my head around that. Because how do you get the time to do all those?
I think honestly just making time for everything. And I will say, one of the things that I hate most is it's just kind of how life works, but there's some organizations I was in that didn't get as much as my attention. But I still made sure to be involved in everything I was in. Okay, I was in a junior philanthropic organization called Civinettes. And so for 3 years in a row, I actually got top service hours for Civinettes. And even though Civinettes wasn't like my number one activity, I still made sure to put all of my effort I could into Civinettes.
Yes, yes, and I mean effort can always, you make new friends in these clubs, and these friends become, something for something. If you ever need something, you can always rely on them too. So, 100%. But like you said, starting all these clubs that early on leads you to become not only just a mere member, but now president and co-founder of like clubs that we've mentioned over already, like Speech and Debate, Spanish Club, World Culture Club, Chess Club, Mu Alpha Theta, and Science Olympiad. So, is there one club or team which you have felt the closest connection to out of the rest, in your opinion?
Honestly, Speech and Debate for a while. My senior year speech and debate was not it, but junior year speech and debate and 10th grade year speech and debate and even 9th grade year speech and debate was my main group of friends, it was my family, and it was also what I prided and I identified myself with. Like when you say like, oh hi, my name's Julia, I do this and this and this, speech and debate was always like my number one. I loved speech and debate, and I was so involved with the Magnolia community, and I created so many friends through speech and debate that went to other schools. And then also even my own team. Because my 10th grade year, we had this amazing coach, and his wife had another child, so he had to quit. And so I was left with a situation of the team can either die or my mom and I would be the coach. And so we took over the entire speech and debate program. We would all get into my mom's car and we would go to a tournament where it was just us. I went through and I helped every team member's pieces, and I helped literally coach the entire team. And while we did that my 11th grade year, we were successful. 8 people got to nationals. Um,
Dang.
yeah, and we didn't have a coach. We were little orphans. And I think that experience, though, of really having to grit it out, that helped the team become closer. Um,
Definitely.
and then my senior year, I had surgery, and so I kind of had to leave. I didn't leave the team, but the team completely fell apart. So,
So, speaking of that surgery, how do you feel like that surgery has changed your perspective on life and just in general, like, friends and opportunities?
yeah, I mean, it's a part of my life that I dreaded for a while. About a year ago, I knew I had to have the surgery, and I just honestly really didn't want to. It was a very sore point. Um, the surgery itself was 11 hours long. Yeah, it was a long surgery.
Dang, okay.
It was 11 hours long, and the weirdest thing is the condition I have is called multiple exertosis cartilaginous. And so basically, my bones create these little tiny bone tumors all over my body, but none of them they're all benign. But they're just like these little things that are just inconvenient. And so I had one that grew in my hip that it just made my leg shorter, honestly. And honestly, being as a high school student, because that leg was shorter, my legs turned inward when I walked. And so that became a real laughing stock I was really teased about it.
I'll be honest, I'm on the same boat, but instead of inwards, my feet go outwards. I walk like a duck.
Oh, really?
So I definitely see where you're coming from.
I think everybody walks a little weird, it's cool. It's what makes us human. But I think by having so many people doubt me and so many people trying to tear me down, that really made me want to rise even more. They just kind of like unknowingly fed my ambition, I guess. Yeah.
Walked a little bit strange ever since I was a kid. My parents always told me, like, walk straight. And then I walk straight for like 5 minutes, and then they just go from this back to this. And
Yeah.
it's still something like I still get very pissed about it to this day. Like, if I just, because I wasn't born like this. Like, I wasn't like born with this or anything. I feel like it was really because, like, when I was 5, I had my foot right over by a motorcycle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had like, I don't know if it was 2nd or 3rd degree, but the burns were bad.
Oh,
And
wow.
I feel like that might have done something. I can't put most blame because it was in India too, so it's not like I got like a real diagnosis or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it was, and like the other day, like I was at a pickleball tournament. I was just walking. Some random girl screams out of nowhere, "Jess, why do you walk like that?" I was like, I that's was about to lose it. Like, it's uncomfortable too, especially with all these people asking these kind of questions, and it's like it's not in our favor either. Like, obviously you've dealt with this yourself, but
I
it's
completely
all
feel that. Completely feel that.
exactly, and it's like I don't know how to answer. It's like, kid, walk straight. Why are you not walking straight? Like, I've heard like stuff like that, and I was like, I'm trying to. Like, I'm not trying to walk like this. It's just how I've always walked. So, 100%. I
Yeah.
definitely feel like I've never heard. You're the first person I've actually heard of, with something like that too. So I definitely can understand where you're coming from, 100%.
Oh, and I can definitely understand where you're coming from. The walking straight, I really frustrated my parents with that. But yeah, my legs were turned inwards like this.
Yes.
And so because they were inwards, I was often in a lot of pain too. I've never really been athletic because of that. Running was often really hard. So having that corrected though through the form of surgery, and it was such a big intensive surgery. There's only like 4 surgeons in our nation that see that issue, and so I had to have my surgery in New Orleans. Yeah.
And were those? I'm assuming like at least one of those surgeons was there. Or
Yeah. She's great. She's fantastic. But yeah, I definitely get what you mean with the trying to walk straight and getting teased about it. It was something that, in a way, I think people try to find something about you.
exactly.
And with me, that was easy. It was easy bait. But the way I counteracted that was I became so confident and I became so successful that it just annoyed them. and that's
Yeah,
what I wanted.
100%, 100%. That's always something too, because like, especially like, say if it's someone you don't know, they're not gonna judge you by the way you talk because you haven't talked to them. And they're not gonna judge you by your ideas. They're gonna judge you based off the way you look and the way your body gives
Exactly.
off. And that first judgment is what screws everything up afterwards.
Well, and I think if you are such a shallow person that you're going to judge somebody by the way they walk, then I feel bad for them for being that ignorant.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Like, go get a life, dude. Like, what the heck?
yeah.
100%, 100%. But thankfully, fortunately, the surgery did go well. And
Exactly. Very thankful, and I'm very thankful I'm post-op now, and I am back to walking. I had a little era in my life that I was using a walker, and it was nothing but vibes at all. But yeah, I'm completely healthy now, and all good. Swimming every
definitely
day.
thankful for all that too. But you having that, like, that family and close friends and all that by your side through all that too definitely helps a lot.
100%.
A lot for sure. 100%. But coming back to, the more lighthearted stuff, you are also a big time sewer with your own little LLC, little company.
Yeah.
Where did you pick up the interest of sewing in general?
Honestly, when I was in elementary school, my mom just signed me up for a bunch of extracurriculars, hoping one would stick. And she signed me up for this sewing class, and it just kind of stuck. But I didn't sew for a while before COVID, but when COVID hit, I saw that people were making homemade masks, and I wondered what I could do to help that. And so I pulled out my sewing machine and I started making these masks, and I donated them to our local hospital. And after I donated them, I also realized that I could draw my own fabric. So I started drawing gay icons as a seventh grader, printing that on fabric and then making masks. Like David Rose from Schitt's Creek, Leslie Odom Jr. I drew them, printed them, and the masks sold instantly. I don't sew as much nowadays, but I make more masks, and I use just like crazy fabrics and patterns just to be funny.
Definitely, definitely. I know my mom, she sews too, and we have a lot of masks, homemade masks.
Oh, really?
We never bought any like masks from the store or anything. My parents never found the use of that. We just we had like homemade ones, and these would be like stuff like, I remember me and my brother are big basketball guys, so my mom made us Memphis Grizzly masks.
That's cool.
Yes, we had those. Those were one of my favorite. And my mom would just find fabrics around the house. She would just make them into masks, and then that's just be. And then she tailored them to like each face size too. Like, there's my little brother, there's me, there's her, there's my dad, and not all of us have the same face structure, face size. Because like my brother's 5 years younger, so he's not.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Like during that time, 5 years ago, he was 7, 8 ish. And I was 12. He was still a little kid. I was like a teenager. So like, I'm always not gonna have the same face shape and all that stuff. You have to tailor them to each person. And it also became a big problem too, because like my mom would make the same design masks for all of them, and it was like, which mask I put it on? Oh, my dad's is too big. My little brother's is too small. So definitely. But I feel like homemade masks are a lot better than like the ones that are store bought. I feel like.
Probably. It's weird to think we don't even use them anymore.
Exactly. That was 5 years ago. Like
5 years ago, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. 'Cause like the homemade masks, like what we would do, we'd wear them and then we just put them in the wash, just wash them up and then boom, now they're ready. But like these store-bought masks, you have to buy the full box, and then you can't use them again. You can't wash them or something, so you throw them away, and it's just a lot of money going down the drain. So. Like, there was a lot of stuff my parents did to combat a lot of the stuff. Like, I know toilet paper, we had our stuff for that. Masks. I don't know. There were a lot of essentials at that time that, just became very...
It was a crazy time.
Oh, 100%. Because no one was used to it. Like, no one was. No one was used to, like, a pandemic hitting. It happens every, like, 100 years. So,
yeah.
100%, 100%. But, with all of these accomplishments... with Project Pink, the Young Women's Leadership, the Mayor's Youth Council, the gazillion clubs you're in that you are president of, you were named 2025 Coca-Cola Scholar.
I
So
was.
how was that process? First applying and then, going down to the World of Coke in Atlanta, Georgia, and meeting a bunch of other people.
It was crazy. By the time I first applied, my school had never even had somebody get to semifinals. So I made it to semifinals, but also my boyfriend made it to semifinals as well.
Smart duo.
Yeah. And so we were both from the same school, and I didn't really expect anything out of it. Like, I thought, oh, okay, I got semifinals. This is cool. This is a good enough accomplishment. I'm not going to get to regional finals. But when I did, it was just between me and one other girl from Mississippi. It went from like 10 to 2. And at that point, it was more essays. I think, yeah, it was more essays, and then it was finalists, and then Coke. So at that point it was more essays, and the first for semifinals application, I felt a little bit more accomplishment, a little bit more confident because of all of the leadership I have. By the time I got to regionals, I felt a little bit better too because again it's essays. But by the time it was me and another girl, and it was finalists too. And for finalists, it was still me and that other girl, and it was an interview, and I'm not really great at interviews. Like, I was a Brian Cameron Impact Scholar, and I completely messed up that interview. And so by the time there's Impact Scholars for Brian Cameron and Coke Scholars, there was like 2 weeks in between. And so I'm really focused on, for my interview, being me, being not just a robot, not being an AI resume monster, and being more of a human. And I remember feeling so happy with that interview because they asked me about Marvel characters, and I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Who's your go-to superhero?
My favorite superhero
Favorite.
right now is a Black Widow.
Okay.
But I'm also a big Wanda fan. I'm a huge
valid.
Marvel fan. I can talk about Marvel all day long.
I know Phase 5 ended the other day with Ironheart.
Yes, Ironheart was really good. I don't want to spoil for anybody, but I was not expecting that little cameo at the very end. The Septo finally came into the MCU, and I'm so excited for that.
Okay.
I think that's going to be great for Doomsday. But for that interview, it was just me and one other girl, and so when I actually got the email for Coke Scholars, I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital after my surgery, and I woke up for a nap, and I was so surprised. I was the only person from Mississippi that got it. It was just me. So that was really cool to see, especially too because I was literally dead in the hospital bed. I wasn't expecting it at all.
And how was that experience? Obviously, not only did you get it, but one of the requirements
to go.
To Coke, definitely.
Honestly, I remember having huge imposter syndrome. Because everybody around me was saying how they were going to Harvard or Yale, or like there's a table and literally every person was like, yeah, I'm deciding right now between Harvard or Yale, or Harvard.
Columbia. Like
there's like a few Columbia scholars. Like, we have a group chat, but I remember just having that huge imposter syndrome, and honestly, I feel like kind of realizing like, okay, well, I earned this. I have a place here that really helped. But it was so cool meeting so many people from around our nation. Everybody was just so smart and so ambitious. And I mean, again, it's like I said earlier, from Q-Shul's goggles that he's made, those were amazing. I remember hearing Ruby. She was born in Dubai, and she's an amazing swimmer, and I'm like, oh, I'm a swimmer, but I'm not on that level. She's over there doing like Ironmans, and I can swim across a pool and back. Yeah.
But definitely, obviously, the connections that you make, because y'all are basically tied for the rest of your life now.
Yes, we have a group chat, and we're talking constantly in it. And Clark Bottlers paid for me to go, and so they also paid for Grant Harper from Kentucky. I don't know if you've interviewed him yet. Yes.
No, not yet. I saw him. No, the funny thing is too, I reached out. I followed him on Instagram. He's also a part of FPLA.
Oh yeah.
I was walking, right? I walked right past Grant Harper, and I was like, should I stop him and ask for an interview on my podcast? Because I'm already interviewing all the like Coca-Cola scholars. But I got too scared, and I never did.
Oh, he's such a fun guy. He's such a fun guy. But it was so funny because the first night we got to sit with the bottlers, and I had never drinking a sip of soda in my life.
Really?
Never had a carbonated drink ever.
Okay.
And so the bottlers and Grant were like, "Well, your first sip is gonna be Coke." And so I drank it. It was spicy. But I tried Coke for the first time at Coca-Cola. Scholar.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
A lot of
'Cause
soda talk on this interview.
yes, yes. I mean, it is Coca-Cola, so I mean, it
Sure.
is perfect. For me, that's crazy because I've had Coke around me like all the time as a kid. Like my parents, they believe I'm a Coca-Cola addict. Like they say, there's a joke in my house: if you leave a Coke can out and I walk past it, it's gonna teleport
It's
into
evaporate.
exactly. It's going to be in my hands and I'm going to be drinking it.
But then you were the perfect future Coca-Cola scholar.
I'm praying. I'm praying. After talking to all of y'all, like I mean, it's especially. But the thing is, like competition is like heavy nowadays too.
Oh, it is. It's
Yeah.
1/6 of 1%.
Exactly, 0.15%. Like that goes to show how much, like you said, imposter syndrome. That's what a lot of people have told me too. They're like, I didn't feel like I was there, but like y'all were there for a reason. Y'all were chosen out of more than 100,000 applicants.
Yeah. Still crazy to think about those numbers.
Exactly, 0.15%. Y'all were all there for a reason, and it's a good reason at best too. So
Thank you.
100%. But you know, at the end of the day, why do you personally believe you were named a Coca-Cola scholar?
Maybe it was because of my killer Marvel answer. Maybe. But I also think just the impact I've made in my community. Again, I've created so many clubs that I've created so many opportunities for those in my community. And I feel like that's what really set me apart. And also, by the time I got to the interview, again, I was chill, I was relaxed, but I feel like they really saw that while I do have an impressive resume, I'm also a fun person to be around. And I feel like that they choose people over paper.
Definitely, that's what a lot of people have said too. Coca-Cola did make a very good choice when it came to choosing people with actual personalities and stuff than just like the resume part. You know, there's people that can be just like good at everything, but that's the only thing they make a part of their life. And you know, they want people with passion, but they want actual people, not robots.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a cyborg. Like passion and like being, I feel like that's what the interview portion gets at a lot of people. It shows like who's a real person and who isn't.
And I
And
think it's also really important to realize that if you're going through the Coca-Cola process, if you're going through the application process, everything is not that serious if you get it. It's not that serious if you don't get it. And I think that's
exactly.
the kind of attitude I kept with it. And I think that's what really, really helped.
Definitely, definitely. You know, keep that positive attitude. Obviously, you have faced a lot too, and you know, just keeping that positive attitude through everything,
Hmm.
it'll get the job done for anybody, anywhere. So,
Yeah.
100%. But you know, to round out this episode, you know, the Voice for You podcast is our tagline is to empower the leaders of today and tomorrow. And obviously, as a student leader yourself in your own community, in your own state, what is some advice they can give either me, the audience members, or anybody in general who's trying to make a difference in their own community?
I definitely say if anybody's trying to make a difference, especially a high school student, don't get dismayed over the word no. Because I've been told no so many times. And I'm somebody that when I get told no, I find a way around that. A no is just, it's just a roadblock. You have to find another road to get around. I think especially with like speech and debate. Again, we lost our coach. And so normally when a team loses their coach, they stop being a team. They stop
Exactly.
competing.
Exactly.
And instead, and I was told no by my school's principal. But instead of just accepting that no, I decided, you know what, I'm not. I'm going to find a way and I'm going to keep this team and I'm going to keep it going. And I just think that's really important to remember.
That's valid. That's valid. That's another thing a lot of people have said. Networking, you know, you
Oh
can
yeah,
get
networking.
50, 100 no's. That one yes can change the whole world.
Yeah.
Like, take this, for example, like if I didn't reach out to all of y'all, and if you didn't reach out to me, or like if I didn't get my name out there, then we wouldn't be sitting here talking today.
Exactly.
Everything.
Exactly.
Because we might think people are judgy, and yeah, they can be judgy, but most people aren't. They're willing to help, for anything. So networking and reaching out to people is definitely something that helps a lot of people, especially if they're trying to further something with what they're passionate about. So I definitely see where we're
I
coming
agree with that.
100%. But once again, Julia, thank you so much for joining the Voice of Your podcast, and
Thank
reaching out
you.
to me and agreeing to do an episode. It personally, like, it really does mean. I can't stress enough. It does mean a whole
Thank
lot.
you. I've really enjoyed this. I really
Thank,
have. This has been fun.
thank you. Obviously, like all of y'all student leaders, that's the main goal of the podcast, and you have done your fair share. And all the best at Columbia. I know New York. New York is a very nice place.
Thank you. I'm excited for it. I hope it's ready for me.
Yeah. Oh, I bet you. You're gonna come in with fire, and just you'll be ready. But once again, thank you so much, Julia, for
Thank
hopping on
you.
this episode. And to the audience, thank you so much for watching till the very end. Remember to follow the Voice You podcast on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and stream our episodes on wherever you find your music, like Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Once again, I'm your host, Jeshwant Vana. Thank you so much, Julia, for joining an episode
Thank
today,
you.
and we will see y'all later. Have a good day.